Hi, Bill 1911 here. Today I'd like to talk to you about something that's very important to us, and that's your safety. Do not attempt any of the things you see on our videos until you have thoroughly reviewed and understood our safety procedures. Also, if you're under 18 years of age, do not attempt any of these topics without the consent of your parent or guardian. Thank you. Hi, Bill 1911 here. Today we are going to show you how to clean and lubricate a Model 60-9 Smith & Wesson 5-shot revolver. As is always the case, before we start working on any gun, the very first thing we are going to do is verify that the firearm has no ammunition in it. We are then going to verify that there's no ammunition in the work area. This is an important safety precaution. We don't want accidents to happen, so if there's no ammunition present where we're working on the gun, it just minimizes the chances of anything going wrong. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to review what we're going to need to clean this gun. We're going to need a cleaning jag. You can also use a cleaning brush if you prefer. I like to use the cleaning jag. That's just personal preference. We're going to need cleaning patches. You won't need a huge number of them. It won't take that many. You're going to need a powder solvent. Now, we don't recommend any particular brand. This is a military surplus. It was inexpensive, and since I clean a lot of guns, I thought it would be good to cut my costs some. And you're also going to need a gun oil. Now, we always caution to specifically use an oil that is designed for firearms. The reason why is that some guns have some plastic parts in them. Certain plastics can react badly with certain types of oils. Now, firearms manufacturers know the oils that are going to be used, and they use plastics that aren't affected by that oil. But other types of oils may cause you a slight problem. So sometimes the plastic will decay and crumble. Other times the plastic might swell up and cause the gun to bind and not function properly. So we always recommend the use of a specifically designed gun oil. Some people like to use WD-40. I personally do not, and it's for the same reason. WD-40 is not specifically rated as a gun oil. So, the first thing we're going to want to do is screw our jag into our cleaning rod. Then we're going to open our solvent can and make sure we set it out of the way to make sure it doesn't get knocked over. We're going to get a cleaning patch, and we are going to wet it with solvent. From there, we're going to go through the gun and we're going to wipe down any areas where we can see any existing dirt on our gun. So that's what we're doing right now. Now, you'll see in a moment that there is some dirt in this gun. It's not real bad, but this is why we need to attend to our guns on a very regular basis. Sometimes they will pick up dirt literally just sitting there in our gun safe. There's always dust in the air no matter where you are, and there's always a chance that some of it's going to get down into your gun. It does happen. If you carry a gun, you'll get lint from your shirt, body hair, anything that is possible to go down into that gun. Believe me, it'll get there. It'll graduate right down into it. Then it will stick to the oil that's in the gun, and kind of make a sludge that's almost like glue by the time it's set there for a while. So you want to clean your gun, if you're going to carry it, at least once every 2 weeks. This is especially important with semi-automatic handguns. Revolvers will put up with a lot more neglect than semi-automatic firearms do. Wipe down all of our surfaces. Alright, once that's done, as you can see, there's some dirt on our patch. So we're going to go ahead and get a clean one. Excuse me. We're going to wet it. And now, right here on the tip of this gun rod, you'll see this little kind of like spear point sticking out. We're going to take that and stab it right through our patch. That's going to hold our patch in place on the jag. Just like that. You can see it went right through the patch. There you go. Now, on most guns, I recommend going from the breech end of the barrel. On a revolver, because of the frame, we don't have a way to do that, so we're going to go in through the muzzle. Now, it's a very tight fit, so okay, there we go. Now, this gun definitely needed to be cleaned. As you can see from this pouch, or this patch, there was a good bit of dirt in that gun. Now we're going to repeat this procedure with the barrel as many times as we feel is necessary to get the barrel clean. Okay. Now, I forgot to tell you, when I used this patch a second time, I used it first on this side, and then I literally turned it inside out, remounted it on my jag, and used the inside, which was clean. So now both sides of that patch are dirty. So we're going to get another patch, and we're going to move on to the cylinders. Each one of these holes in the cylinder is called a chamber, and that's where each of your cartridge cases are going to go into. So we need to now clean each one of those. We're going to do the same thing, stab the patch through, and then we're going to simply push it right through the cylinder. Okay, it goes right out the front. And then we take the patch off, turn it inside out, remount it, and go on to the next cylinder. Okay. Now I'm going to share a little tip with you about how you can look through your barrel. Never look down through your barrel on your revolver unless your cylinders are open. Do not do that under any circumstances. The only time you want to look through your cylinder or your barrel is if that cylinder is open to the side like that. Now, if you try to just look right down your barrel, okay, generally speaking, it's pretty dark inside. So what can we do to make that easier to see? All right, we're just going to take a little piece of white paper or a clean patch, and we're going to stick it in front of it. You see how that made that barrel nice and bright inside so you can see it? Look at that. So just by using that patch, we can light the inside of the barrel so we can tell how clean it is or how dirty it is. And this looks pretty clean, looks good. So, now we're going to move on to lubricating the firearm. First I'm going to put my cap back on my solvent to make sure I don't knock it over. Now, anywhere where you have moving parts, this is rotating on a shaft, so we're going to want to put a little drop of oil right in there, and it'll soak right through. Maybe another little drop here. Now, this shaft pushes in and out, so we're going to want to drop in here where it goes through the cylinder. All right, so that's pretty well got the cylinder lubricated already. We're just about done, believe it or not. We're going to want to drop here on the release, and that soaks right down into there. We're going to want one on each side of the hammer. Okay, that's going to soak down into the frame where those contact points are. We're going to want one on each side of the trigger. All right, and on this particular gun, very difficult to see. If I can get it in just the right position, you might be able to see it. It's on the back side of the trigger. There is a little slot right here. Now that little slot inside the gun has a bar that's connected to it. It's called a transfer bar. We're going to want to put a little drop of oil down in there too. And that's going to lubricate that stuff inside there. That's pretty much all there is to it. There's one other actually two other places that you're going to want to put a drop of oil. Again, difficult to see. If I can get it to the right angle, you should be able to see it. Right down here, there's like a little button. That's actually one of the two latches that holds the cylinder in place. Okay? So we're going to want a drop of oil on that little latch right in here. Okay? Now, in the back of the gun, there are two more little spots. This is the latch on the rear end of the revolver right in the middle. That needs a drop of oil. This is where the firing pin comes through the frame. That's going to need a drop of oil. And finally, right in here, this is what we call a push paw, that every time you cock the hammer, it sticks out and pushes against the cylinder and causes the cylinder to rotate to the next firing position every time you cock the firearm or pull the trigger all the way back. So we're going to put a drop in here, and in here. And that should do it. That's got us lubed, cleaned, and ready to go. Very simple gun, so it's a very simple cleaning procedure and very simple oiling procedure. If you found this video to be helpful and informative, please don't forget to like us up above, subscribe down below, and please make sure you come to visit us at askbill1911.com.